So all of this land used to be a forest, and it was recently cut down only like maybe 8 years ago or so. Well, whenever they did that, they uncovered this little family graveyard, and I've been curious about it ever since. So let's go take a look, because I've actually not been able to find any information about it on the internet. So I think it's probably my duty to document this. This is in Greenville, Illinois, kind of at the southeast corner of it. Looks like there's only like 4 headstones, if that's the right term. Unfortunately, the wind is very, very rough today. Oh, there's a train over there. So this first headstone is gone. There's a tiny one back there that says WB, so that might be like a pet or something like that. Sacred to the memory of Samuel E. Blanchard, died December 12, 1852, aged 68 years. So evidently he was born in the 1700s. That's pretty old. I like how they've used PVC pipe to put it back together. Actually, I like how they've kept this entire thing, because they could have just ripped it all down and turned it into yet more field, but they decided not to. This looks to be a baby's tombstone, and they've glued it back together. Lulu, I can't read the second line. Blanchard, 1854. Elizabeth, wife of Seth Blanchard, born August 13th, 1800, died. That's very difficult. October 8th, 1846. William, son of S&E Blanchard, born September 14th, 1834, died October 12th, 1846. And then these are just, I guess, ones without the tops. That's pretty interesting. It would be very interesting to excavate this site to see if there's the missing headstones, or whatever they're called, around here. So we have some boring animal that is making a little home and poops. Maybe a raccoon or something. Oh, this is a very big one over here. And this is fresh clay. Something's dead underneath there because there's a bunch of flies. I am not going in there, that's for sure. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they actually saved this. So I was not expecting to find much of a story whenever I went up to those graves. I was expecting it to be something like, oh, Farmer John and his wife Mary died in 1895 and nobody remembers who they are, who cares? But, as we already know, the graves are about 50 years older than that, and according to a book that I found on the internet titled Historical Souvenirs of Greenville, Illinois, and a few other things, but mostly that book. It's on archive.org, so you can read it if you want. It's from about 1904, and it covers the early history, maybe like the prehistory of Greenville to 1904. And according to that book, the Blanchards were actually kind of important and rich people. So that's kind of cool. So there was Seth Blanchard, which actually that book has a picture of him. Kind of a rough-looking fellow. We kind of forget how quickly and badly people aged back then because how rough life was. We have it pretty good now. There's also Samuel Blanchard, Elizabeth Blanchard, which I believe is married to Seth Blanchard, and, well, I assume that their kid Lulu, if that is their kid's name, or since they were kind of rich people, maybe that is just like a pet. I think that was a kid's grave, though. I think maybe that would be like Lulu Blanchard, but I couldn't find any information about that. But they were probably died at like 6 months old or something like that, so of course there probably wouldn't be much record of that. And then the last one? Elisha Blanchard. That's it. Elisha Blanchard. So there's like 5 people buried there. I believe that the 2 headstones at the very ends that are missing, the one on the leftmost or northernmost side, I believe that is Elisha Blanchard, and the one on the rightmost or southernmost side is Seth Blanchard. Interestingly enough, that road is actually called Seth Blanchard Drive that goes up there. It seems like Seth Blanchard was pretty much in charge of a lot of the business side of things, because they were rich merchants that lived in St. Louis in the early 1800s, and I believe around 1819 or so, sometime before 1820, they sold a bunch of land in St. Louis, and they actually sold the land that is now where the St. Louis courthouse is, so that's a fair amount of land. And they moved to Greenville in 1820. In Greenville, they set up a shop, like a mercantile or something. I'm not really sure if there was a shop before it or what, but you guys can always research that. You can read the book. I don't know. Either way, they seem to be pretty prominently mentioned in the book, so they seem to be pretty integral to the town starting out. And then in the 1830s, there's a couple mentions that I saw of the Blanchards. I think it was Seth Blanchard actually that helped the town members figure out where the main town square should be, and like where the courthouse or something like that. Like I can't remember, like surveying and stuff like that. I'm not really sure, but there definitely were some mentions of him in the 1830s or so. So it's kind of interesting. And there's not really a whole lot of mentions after that. I assume that they were just rich old people and just kind of enjoyed the rest of their lives. There was a mention of the Blanchards at one point in the book. The book is like 110 years old, so it assumes some things as being fact that are not known anymore. Like, for instance, in the book it says, and that's how the Blanchard Hill got its name. It's like, wait a minute, what Blanchard Hill? And I still can't, I'm not quite sure which hill is Blanchard Hill. That might be one of the hills in Greenville, or that might be the hill that they're buried on. I'm not sure. And then, on Google Earth, I was able to find out what broke the fence. I was not expecting that I would even find out what broke the fence. I wasn't even like, when you see something like that, it's like, oh, something must have hit it. I'm not going to be able to figure it out. I was able to figure it out. So, in 2012, I found this picture from 2012, where the field is obviously filled up with hay bales. And it looks like one hay bale has rolled down the hill and smashed into the fence. So many mysteries being solved. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't think I've really missed anything. You can go read the book if you're really interested in it. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like, what other things around here that I've been wanting to visit for a long time might uncover something? Like, I know there's a old abandoned house a couple miles south of here that might be kind of interesting, but who knows. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!